This video is for The Living Earth, Unit 1.3, Describing Populations. Today's essential question is, what are the differences between exponential and logistical growth? Exponential population growth. Exponential growth of a population occurs when the growth rate is density independent and constant. Exponential growth causes a population to increase rapidly over time. This increase in population size can be seen as a J-shaped curve on a graph. The steep slope is due to the continually increasing population. As an example, imagine a population of bacteria that reproduces by each cell dividing once per hour, so that the population doubles every hour. The table on your screen here shows the number of bacterial cells over a period of time, starting with a single cell. Notice that after 10 hours, the population has increased from 1 to 1,024. Populations growing in ideal conditions and without limitations will initially show exponential growth. Invasive species are an ecological problem, in part because they undergo exponential growth. When these organisms are first brought to a new environment, they often do not have natural predators or parasites. They can grow nearly unchecked if the new environment is favorable. These invasive organisms will increase in number very quickly. Invasive organisms tend to take over unoccupied niches or outcompete native organisms. This can drive native organisms to extinction. Many species rely on exponential growth as their main reproductive strategy. These organisms are referred to as R-selected. The R refers to the rate of increase because this strategy relies on producing many offspring. In general, R-selected species are adapted to unstable habitats. Fungi are R-selected, for example. Decomposers grow when a tree or other organism dies. They cannot plan for a new food source and will quickly and eventually exhaust a given source. As a result, fungi grow quickly and reproduce large numbers of spores before the food source is exhausted. In general, R-selected organisms tend to be small, grow quickly, produce large numbers of offspring, and provide very little parental care to those offspring. Logistical population growth. Populations tend to grow exponentially until they are regulated by lack of resources or other factors. Once the population size nears the ecosystem's carrying capacity, the rate of increase will slow. The carrying capacity is the largest population size that can be supported by the ecosystem. Logistical growth is density dependent because the density of the population is limiting its growth. Some species use logistical growth as a reproductive strategy. These organisms are called K-selected. K is the abbreviation for carrying capacity. K-selected organisms are adapted to stable environments. Their population sizes tend to remain near the carrying capacity of the environment. These populations are generally regulated by density-dependent factors such as predator-prey interactions, as well as resource availability. K-selected organisms tend to be larger, grow slowly, produce fewer offspring, provide parental care to offspring, and are adapted to stable environments. Species that produce fewer offspring tend to provide more parental care. Each individual organism has a finite energy supply and cannot allocate energy to both high reproductive rates and extensive parental care of each offspring. These reproductive strategies apply to plants as well as to animals. In plants, parental care can be defined as energy allocation to the seeds. Plants that produce large seeds with abundant nutrient storage tend to produce fewer seeds overall, as an example. At this point, you should be able to generate a full and appropriate response to today's essential question. What are the differences between exponential and logistical growth?